Quick update, everyone. I wrote an article for the Mercury about a week ago pointing out the serious problem of food insecurity in Northview. I also highlighted Mayor Butler's attempts to stifle public comment and delegitimize community voices on this issue during June 22nd's City Commission meeting.
Yeah, I want to interject. The public comment was supposed to be about Social Services Advisory Board, and the topic you're talking about has nothing to do with the Social Services Advisory Board.
Now, Mayor Butler has recently taken to Facebook as a way of further attempting to delegitimize community voices, calling for attention to food insecurity in Northview, and he continues to try and spin the issue. In a comment responding to a post on the June 22nd City Commission meeting, Mayor Butler wrote, "If I had wanted to totally stifle the comments, I could legally have not allowed any comments at the end of the meeting. As this was a work session, no open public comments on any topic were permitted. The issue was not part of the SSAB agenda and was not appropriate for comment during that section of the meeting. Made an exception to allow the comments at the end of the meeting. Guess that was a bad idea." Okay, so this is patently false and dishonest. First, public comment is part of all City Commission work sessions. It's written right there on the agenda, and it's listed on the City of Manhattan's website. And Mayor Butler knows that, as we can see when he repeatedly opens the floor for public comment during the meeting.
Do we have any public comments on the library? So thank you. Is there any public comment on this particular topic tonight? Okay, any public comment on the Manhattan Arts Center? Okay, is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none, thanks Dennis, and drive on with the projects down there so we can bring in people to spend money.
Thank you.
Is there any public comments on DMI? There'll be presentations made by various agencies this evening. After each presentation, there'll be a time for the commission to ask questions and the agency, and we'll also pick up public comments at that time.
So that whole line about the meeting not being open to public comment just isn't true. Second, Mayor Butler's being disingenuous when he says, quote, "The issue was not part of the SSAB agenda and was not appropriate for comment during that section of the meeting." This is also just patently false. The relationship of food insecurity to the budgeting and operation of social services had everything to do with the SSAB agenda item in question. When systemic problems like food insecurity go unaddressed, it costs more in social services. The budgeting to pay for social services increases to address those problems, and all taxpayers pick up that bill as an increased expense. Addressing food insecurity at the policy level and the ground level by installing a kitchen at the Eisenhower Community Center is an economically and ethically wise solution, and everyone from the SSAB in the room that night understood it. Mayor Butler also wrote that he made an exception to allow the comments at the end of the meeting. To clarify, Mayor Butler didn't make any kind of exception for public comment. Again, it's part of the work session agenda. He actually stepped outside of his authority in disrupting that in the first place, and by trying to stifle community voices, bringing attention to a relevant problem.
Yeah, I want to interject. The public comment was supposed to be about Social Services Advisory Board.
Now, Mayor Butler has taken to Facebook to continue trying to delegitimize valid community voices on serious problems that affect the economic, political, and overall well-being of Manhattan. Again, it's not that what we had to say wasn't relevant to the agenda that night. It absolutely was. Mayor Butler just didn't want to hear what we had to say. And he's made that clear by continuously repeating to suggest that our public comments were somehow out of line or irrelevant, which again, couldn't be farther from the truth. Just briefly, I want to share some personal thoughts and feelings about, about this particular issue. Mayor Butler is a public official. It is his duty and his obligation to be a public servant, to represent the interests of all community members, the well-being of all community members. I don't know how this sits with everyone else, but I frankly find it completely shocking and unacceptable that a public official would respond to not just public comment in city commission meetings, but to public input, public feedback about really serious problems that affect some of our community's most vulnerable members. That a public official would respond in such a way, in such a dismissive, delegitimizing way, repeatedly, is it's really beyond words. It's really upsetting. It also just has really serious implications for the city of Manhattan as a political entity. This issue actually goes a lot deeper, so I'm going to be writing another contributing writer column to the Mercury next week to shine more light on this particular problem. So stay tuned, and if you haven't already, please sign our petition and join us in telling the city of Manhattan to put an end to Northview's food desert.